I'm just going to count to 4 and start over again.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Drummers Education Connection. My name is Jeremy Steinkohler, and I am fortunate enough to be here every week with my good friends Bart Robley, Chip Ritter, and Rick Stojak. Unfortunately, Rick is out today. He's on vacation. We hope he's having a really good time. But in his place, we have two fantastic guests. I've been looking forward to having these guys on for months and months. Please give a warm welcome to Alex Cohen and Ramon Montagner. Yeah,
hello.
Right, of course, you can't hear that warm welcome, but we know it's there.
I'll pretend there's your thunderous hand clapped applause. Okay,
exactly.
There you go.
The throngs of people shouting.
I'm intimidated to play in front of Alex and Ramon, though, so I'm just going to put my sticks right over there and leave them.
Yeah, don't touch your sticks during this interview,
Bart. I'm not going to touch them for the rest of the show.
I was looking both of these guys up earlier today and watching some of their videos, and my sticks are over here in the trash can.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, about, you know, the feeling of being overwhelmed and when stuff is super advanced. Because what for those of you who aren't familiar with these guys, Alex and Ramon are two phenomenal masters of the drum set, and they're really pushing the boundaries of what can be done on the instrument. And they're two of the hottest young guys. I say young in quotes, but on the scene. And not only that, they're also educators, they're published authors, and they're also working on a collaborative book together. We're going to ask them about that. We're going to ask them about the Murder Hands group they have on Facebook and also other projects they have going on. But before we dive in, I do want to mention to our listeners that on November 12th, we are hosting our first ever live event. It's called Deck Day, and we're going to do it at the Aquarian Warehouse in Orange, California. And we're going to be having an afternoon of clinics and product demos. We're going to have a tour of the Aquarian facility, and we're going to have giveaways and prizes and raffles, and it's going to be a fantastic day. So there's information about that on our website, www.drummersedcon.com. That's drummersedcon.com. You can actually register and purchase tickets. It'll be streamed online. You can also watch it that way, and we'll be updating you about that as well. So, Alex and Ramon, first thing I want to ask you is, how do you guys know each other?
Well, I'll start by saying social media can be an amazing thing. And I first met Ramon we were both doing the Wilcoxon Challenge years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm pretty sure you guys did that one too, if I remember correctly. I think a number of us did.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was at the time working on the push-pull thing, and Ramon comes in and does the Wilcoxon piece with one hand.
I remember that.
So my first thought was, okay, well, I certainly can't do that. What am I going to do for this? So I did the Wilcoxon in the feet. That was my thing. And people responded well to both of us. And so that was how we first got introduced and met.
I love that. And I just want to say, you guys got to check out Ramon and Alex's videos. They've got a ton of stuff up. And I show these videos from both of you guys to my students all the time. I was mentioning that to Ramon before you came on, Alex. And I always say, I can't do this, but it's possible.
But it's possible.
I mean, it's funny because especially for me, I show the latest stuff, especially Ramon's been doing that with the 2 sticks that he could do with both hands, you know, the ambidexterity thing. I remember showing that, like I send those to my friends all the time too, and my students, and I'm just like, yeah, so I'm going to let you know right now, I don't think I could ever do this. Maybe give me like a lifetime and a half, and like we'll come back and talk about it. But as far as I'm convinced.
Well, but that's one of the beautiful things, honestly, is like, you know, here you are, two guys who've met, you know, through social media, and now you're connected, you're friends, and you're working on a project together, and you're both amazing at what you do, and what you do is different, you know, and it just goes to show and remind us all that you can, you know, go down a certain path or a rabbit hole or a niche aspect of drumming and really become expert at it, and still have so much to learn about all these other aspects. And, you know, the whatever, the onion there's infinite layers to it, right? And that's part of our job and part of your job, really, not so much mine and maybe Bart's, maybe yours and Chip's, is to push the boundaries, of what's possible, so that, because it is possible. And I applaud you guys for doing what you do. I every time I watch your videos, my jaw drops to the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, wow.
The thing that I also am very impressed with, the fact that you guys are working together on these projects and doing this stuff. I mean, Alex, we know you've been on the show before. You're in Brooklyn, and Ramon, this is your first time on the show, but you're in Brazil, and that is just that is so awesome, because like you said, social media can be such a great, powerful, positive tool. And one of the things that I always say to my students and to just musicians, inspiration is everywhere. I mean, if you need to be inspired to practice, you're doing something wrong, because all you got to do is you look at your phone, you're like, oh, I can't do that, I got to go practice, whatever it may be. I think this is amazing. This is just absolutely fantastic. You guys are doing this. How are you guys putting a collaborative project together? That being said, when you guys writing something and then you email it back and forth, how's that working out?
Talk, Alex.
Well, okay, okay. So the way that I really wanted to do, because especially one thing that I've been working on a lot is trying to sound like multiple drummers at once, or creating the double drummer effect, as I call it, where one limb is capable of soloing, or multiple limbs are capable of soloing at once. And Ramon's techniques and what he's doing right now, to me, feel like the logical conclusion that I would love to get to with some of this stuff, as far as continuing on what I'm doing, like being able to do the two sticks in one limb against those ostinatos or against double bass, stuff like that. And so that, to me, it was easy for me, at least, and I'll let Ramon say what he thinks, but it was easy for me to draw the overlap and literally within sections go exercise overlap and suggest, now practice Ramon's thing over my thing, or work my thing over Ramon's thing, and cross-pollinate them and have them overlap in ways that I think just created infinite possibilities at this very high technical level.
It reminds me a little bit of a new breed kind of approach.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, I was hugely inspired by Gary Chester and Alan Dawson, that kind of rhythms and systems exercise, coordination exercise. And what I did on our book that will come soon is apply my techniques that I've been developing as push and pull, dual grip, and slide technique on this type of coordination exercise. I use some ideas from my book. This is Rhythm Imagination, a type of my version of New Breed, with some contributions, some 2-voice readings, 3-voice readings, and some ideas. And I created 16 exercises doing this concept. I create some ostinato, and with one hand I use or slide or dual grip or push and pull, and suggest more readings, pages of readings to develop this concept and the coordination. I love to practice my stuffs, or almost all I play on drums. I'm trying to use some readings to study it. A few in exercises or different interpretations of these readings, because I think this creates some rhythm imaginarium on your brain, on your mind, and you can use this rhythmics and this rhythmical phrases on soloing or playing or different ideas during the system, during the groups.
Can I ask you guys, if someone were to, I want to get deep into your book and find out what's in it and what's in store for those of us who are going to purchase it. What if someone came to you, they found out about you on the internet, and that guy's into this, Alex is into the polyrhythmic and the feet and the odd time and groupings, and Ramon's got the push-pull thing. Someone comes to you and they've got no exposure to either of your areas of expertise. How do you start them off?
Great question. Alex almost hung up on us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you here. I've had this experience a couple times in the past couple weeks, and I'm gonna be honest. Both times, I completely feel like I fall flat on my face with it. And apparently both people said it wasn't so bad. One guy was a pop guy in New York, and the other guy was a metal guy, and they sort of wanted to learn some of the facets that I was teaching. And the first thing I literally did for both of them was, for the guy, for someone who doesn't really have any exposure to foot control or that kind of stuff, stick control in your feet or between your right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot, get your limbs even out. For the metal guy, I'm like, have you ever worked out of The Art of Bop Drumming by John Riley to start your basic independence? You haven't? Then that's what we're going to do right now.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's a left turn I didn't see coming. No kidding.
I love that.
So
yeah,
great book.
No, completely. But part of the new book, actually, the video that almost kind of drove me to hallucinations was I read a page of Beyond Bop Drumming, the picture 3 comping that's in Beyond Bop Drumming, right-handed, and then you flip the kit around left-handed and read the same page backwards. So you're reading the whole thing left-handed.
Yeah. For those of you, the Art of Bop Drumming and Beyond Bop Drumming, those are books by the great John Riley, who's an educator in New York City, and he actually just came out with a brand new book called The Master Drummer, which is also fantastic. So those are must-have books for your collection. That's great. I love that. Even just telling me that, I'm going to go, when we hang up, I'm going to go start practicing stick control between all my limbs.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Ramon?
Yeah.
Yes. If I understood correctly your words, Jeremy, some guys always say that is impossible. Why don't you play marimba? A lot of haters. Some haters, not a lot.
Well, you're always going to have haters because if they can't do it,
Yes. Some guys say, oh, this is bullshit. This is not music. But some guys tell me they are very inspired and ask how to begin to study these techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach the basic movements and say to apply some and adapt some ideas from stick control and some readings to fill in exercise using push and pull, or if they play some of push and pull, I can teach them some articulations and adapt all the knowledge that we have for both hands in one hand or in each hand separately. But I think the main things that people say is that they are inspired and congratulations and ask me about how to start, and I say this: the basic movements and accents and start very slow, and coordination. They have to study that ideas of Alan Dawson, Gary Chester, and my book, of course, if it was about Brazilian rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask. I want to ask this question because of something that you said, Ramon. Are people like, and this goes to both of you. People are like, "Oh, that's bullshit. I can't. That's not music. That's
Yeah."
But like I said, I think whenever somebody can't do something, they're gonna, there's probably a lot of envy involved there when they see that. I mean, what you can accomplish with the push pull and your techniques. Where does that cross into, like you said, Alex, a second ago, like into a pop thing or a metal thing? Where would this technique, where would the rubber meet the road when you're playing a Huey Lewis song, or I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not knocking Huey Lewis. I mean, hell, you got a wedding gig, you're gonna play, you're gonna do that stuff. Where does the rubber meet the road? How do you make those two intertwine?
Yes.
And I'll throw that to both of you. How does that work?
Yes, I think first of all, this type of videos on that I've been doing for a long time are, like, how can I say this word in English? Is for promotion, of course, but it's some in the same way that on fashion weeks, for example,
Mhm.
in a fashion space, some guys that make clothes exaggerate a little bit on
Right.
the clothes
Right.
as a tendency, not it's some speculation, some
Uh-huh.
brainstorms that I've been doing, applying this. Of course, when I play with some singers or with my trio, jazz trio, Brazilian jazz trio, and some pop stuffs, I apply it with prudence, with how can
Sure.
I say in English?
Yeah.
With
No, that makes sense.
yes,
Yeah.
with,
Yeah, it does.
yes, it's not exaggerating. I think that these techniques must be a tool for expression, not
Right.
an end
Right.
on it, not
Beautiful. Well
the
said.
final thing. But of course, these videos are speculations. I'm trying to do some different and some to something to improve my playing and my techniques,
Yeah.
and I as a diary. But some guys say this is you can't play this on live situation. Of course
Mm.
not.
Right.
I used to I applied these techniques on a blend that I used to play, that Brazilian music with a singer pop. I always apply this, but with uh, uh, in a smart way. Sometimes
Mhm.
in a solo or some embellishment.
Mhm.
Sometimes not every time. Of course, music is the is
Right.
the is the first goal. But yes,
Well, and oftentimes in history, like the technique can sometimes, as it breaks through and something new comes out of it, the music catches up to it. I mean, obviously, you're
Ah.
not going to break out your nested quintuplets when you're playing a Huey Lewis song, right? I
I
mean,
mean, there's
you
the
might, but
door. If
If
you're
you want to
doing
get
pretty,
fired, you
you might,
can.
but you don't.
yeah,
You don't be able to do it one time.
yeah, you're only gonna do it one time, and then you're gonna be on the street packing
Exactly.
your stuff up.
Exactly.
See, you can tell Alex is from New York because there's
Yeah.
a door.
Yeah. But I mean, the way I see it is, you guys are pushing the boundaries. You're stretching it out, and uh, things are going to come out of that. Music's going to come out of that, and a different way of thinking about playing is going to come out of that. That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
Totally.
For me, at least, well, for one thing, I remember I sent Ramon's video to my buddy Eric from Suffocation, Eric Murati, who is an awesome metal drummer. I mean, Suffocation's always been one of my favorite bands. And I remember sending him Ramon's video, and I go, dude, would this not be the sickest blast beat of all time? And he's like, you're right, man. This would be insane. So I think I think there is a place for this stuff, and if not necessarily musically, I think that it has a place mentally in terms of timing awareness, in terms of giving a band
Right.
leader what they want on the
Thank
spot.
you. Thank
Like if a band leader says, or if you're on a recording session and the artist is like, I want your hi-hat foot on 2 and 4, but I want you playing this. Or maybe they want something like the other day I was on a session and the producer gave me a part that was required ambidextrous playing. And he's like, is this too difficult to play? And I said, no, I can actually get this here. I'll do that for you right now to get the machine part. So it's just stuff like that where I think there's a place for it that is useful.
you. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
as drummers, we know, even for the drummers who are just the groove players who play in the top 40 bands, what you practice is not always the same as what you play, right? I
Right.
mean, you can be working
Yeah.
on things that have an influence on your playing that aren't necessarily the playing itself. It's like athletes, right? You don't just play basketball as a basketball player. You do all sorts of other kinds of exercises to condition your body so that it's
yeah,
adaptable in a basketball game context, right?
Right. That's one of the things that remember the other day when we did the lesson videos. Sometimes something as simple as just being able to play a hi-hat on the eighth note, on the upbeat, where some people, that might be challenging for some drummers. And I did that in that song that we do, I was telling you about during the show last 2 weeks ago, where it's the simplest rock groove in the world, but I'm playing my left foot on the eighth note, on the and beats all the way through the song, and it gives the song this this breath that's not there. And so, yeah, Alex, that's kind of what I thank you for that, and Ramon as well, because I do think that sometimes the simplest thing can make a song come to life, and a lot of it does have to do with just simple independence. And I know we're talking much deeper than that, but there's something that I can put my 2 cents in on.
Hey guys, I have a question for you, and you can say no, but I would love it if you each would give us like a 60-second lesson on what your double bass, double
Or
bass
push pull, something.
what are the basics of the push pull? For thinking about our audience and for people who are watching this show, most of them are students. There's some educators, and a lot of them will be totally unfamiliar with the techniques. And it's like, how do we turn them on to what you're doing and how it works?
Yeah, let me get my sticks out of the trash. I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah, this is for me, man.
Oh, yeah.
So mine actually, I'll move this keyboard. Mine is, and if Ramon, if you want to go first, you absolutely feel free to.
Alex first.
Okay. So one thing that I do, and this will be in the book, it's a counting system that I developed and recently, and what it comes down to is you will take a grouping, let's say doubles, and you'll count various subdivisions over it in cross rhythmic and polyrhythmic phrases. So let's say we're going to take doubles, which is be a group of 4. So 1, then you count 3 over it cross rhythmic. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 2 3 4 5 1 2 3. Let's go to 11. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So on and so forth. So there's that, and then that's been really helpful in helping me internalize the numbers over this. Then we would do it polyrhythmically, where you'd have 1 2 3. So you now you count them poly. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3, so on and so forth.
Oh, okay, wow.
So that way you're really starting to feel these groupings over each other, as well as internalize them in your body and your brain, because a lot of the time I feel like drummers rely on their limbs to keep time, where your brain is the most effective part of keeping time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's this is, I think, a counting for me. It was based off of the great Ari Honig, who I studied with when I was in college. And counting, it was such a central part to his system of developing your internal time that really stuck with me. And so this has been a huge part of locking in these subdivisions and really making it so that I can more freely orchestrate the ostinatos. Because if you put those double strokes in your feet, for example, and then count the same thing over that and play the same thing over that, you're playing some really technical solos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Where did you go to school, Alex?
I went to NYU.
And that's where Ari was teaching?
Yes, and I got a degree in jazz performance. Most people you look at me in disbelief, but yes, I did study jazz.
I love that.
Yeah.
Ramon,
Awesome.
Blow everyone away here, dude.
Yeah.
So
We should charge admission for this today.
Exactly. No kidding. We should put a tip bucket up on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
I'll change the camera for just a second. I think it would be better. That camera
Okay.
that I.
Yeah, there we go.
So the first thing that I will talk a little bit about the 3 techniques that I've been trying to develop these years. The first one is the push and pull. When I start when I realized I was doing this type of movement, but when I started this, it came to me. I bring it to me from open close, that open close. But I realized that if I could minimize this movement or put in a little action, I can play 16 notes better in Brazilian rhythms, because we always play tic, 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 or tic, 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 tic. Samba and baião, we always play these rhythms, and it's based on 16 notes, 16 note subdivision, and I try to apply open close, but in a short way, keeping the fingers in contact, and trying to. The first exercise that I could suggest is find the fulcrum, the balance point here, and doing this movement. Are you seeing well? So the idea is to keep this movement. Always keeping the finger in contact. On this finger, you put into this joint, on this joint, and between this these two other fingers in the middle of these two joints. But of course, everyone has a different hand and different hand and handle it a little bit different. But the main thing is this, and try to keep regular 16 notes. The first exercise is this. After this, I suggest you to apply accents into and changing the accents into the 16. On the second, the third, the fourth. And doing this, after you develop this first four accents, you can try to read some readings and thinking and feeling with the 16 notes. And this is the basic exercise for push and pull. Of course, in the beginning, the drumstick go a little bit forward and or backward. You have to find the point again. And I don't play German too much.
Yeah, I was going to mention. It looks like you're playing mostly French grip.
Yes, it's a little bit more a little bit about American in the middle. Not too much French, not too much German. In the middle. And let me change a little bit. The camera, I think, could be better to see. Just a minute. I think this would be better. I don't know. Better.
Oh yeah.
So another
Perfect.
Yes. Another idea is to, after you develop these accents, is to changing the rhythm figures, thinking on rhythm scale. Let me. Try to apply the rhythm scale here in our hand. Both with your left, try to do the same. Of course, I'm a right hand player. My left is not so good. And try to another good exercise
Your
for
left's not so good.
Yeah.
another good exercise for push and pull is splitting, thinking on first fingers, 1, 2, and the 3 and the 4, and now push and pull. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 fingers. Push and pull with the left, and now both hands together. I think is a good exercise. Of course, there's a much more exercise that I've been doing in preparing my next book. I will show you. But this is for push and pull. Of course, there's a difference, a great difference between practicing on your pad and a hi-hat ride. Each drum has a different rebound. You'll have
Right.
to adapt and try to do the same movement. And after you go after the pad, you have to try to apply it in a simple groove. Switching between push and pull and try to apply with your four limbs. There's an equilibrium that you have to develop this. This is for push and pull. I think is a basic idea. Slide.
Ramon, can you take the reins off for like 15 seconds and just show us what you can do for like just so we can get a sense of what's possible?
Yeah, let her rip.
I'm sorry. Tell again, please.
We want to hear you just stretch out and like really show us what's possible with this.
Oh, okay. What about the level of drums? Is okay to play here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this. Sorry about this. I'm sorry I'm
Wow.
playing jazz here, but I'm not a jazz player. With a lot of respect. But you can apply even a jazz situation. In Brazil, I think is the best way to apply. But even in pop, this type of stuff.
Fantastic.
That's
Amazing.
unbelievable, man. That was awesome. I'm so glad that you zoomed in on that, and I muted myself so you guys couldn't hear me sucking over here. But I was just, I was watching your thumbs. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I notice, I'm sure we all do as drummers, everybody has different thumbs. Some people have really curved thumbs. Some people's thumbs are real flat. Yeah. Do you? And I really noticed in that push pull. Do you find that like thumbs have a lot to do with it? Like the shape of somebody's thumbs? Maybe that's the dumbest question anybody's ever asked you, but
that's a good question.
Yes, this is the thumb on this process is very important. But in the beginning,
yeah,
you used to force a little bit your thumb to do this. But with time, you can turn down a little bit your thumb and but when you start to use some articulation, using some tap notes, I adapted that down tap up from that guy Moeller, guy.
Yeah.
I adapted this to instead of doing this.
Wow.
Oh,
unbelievable.
I'm applying some six different articulations from triplet and 4 different articulations for 16 notes. I've been developing this for some time, and in the beginning you force a little bit too much your thumb, but with time you can develop. If you play single push and pull strokes, if I can say this, you can turn down a little bit your thumb, not moving too much. But if when you start to use some articulations, you go again to move more your thumb.
Cool. Wow.
All right,
That's
I'm not gonna have Ramon make me look too much of a chump. So,
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's your turn, Alex.
Yeah.
okay, you got it.
I bet
So,
you, Ramon. I bet you can open a tuna fish can with your thumb, dude. I bet you can just, you don't even need a can opener.
So,
Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go.
let me get a decent shot of my feet here.
Yeah, Alex.
That's pretty good, Alex. You know what? Maybe a little bit more to your right. A little bit more to your right, if you can.
You got it.
There you go.
That's better.
That fell
Yep.
over.
This happened. Let me get a good shot. All right. That good?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So, like Ramon, I kind of adapted a lot of the rudiments to the feet. So let's say going through the rudimental ritual, but something that I was able to do was so adjust dynamics and within the rudiments pull the accents up. So let's say you would have like paradiddle diddles. Let's accent the first two notes. Then no accents. So you're really pulling it out like it's the articulation. On a snare drum.
Crazy.
Then part of this,
That's
then I started adding in where I could figure out where to move my foot on a pedal to adjust the dynamics. So let's say we're going to take a double stroke roll here. Now we're going to adjust it using dynamics. So we'll start pianissimo, go up to fortissimo, back down. So by adjusting the pedal and the foot placement and how much the ankle was moving, I could adjust my dynamics too. So that way I had this whole like solo concept worked out with the feet, including dynamics, accents.
Wow.
So
Insane.
then what I taught myself to do was threes in the feet to do the flam rudiment. So I employed the Jojo Mayer technique of toe, ball, heel down. And both feet. So that way I could do the flam rudiment.
Jesus.
You can't see our faces in the screen right now, but every one of us is like, oh my God.
Good Lord, man.
Crazy
So-
guy.
That's
Yeah, that was-
insane.
Wow. Alex, I mean, both of you guys
Both
really,
of you guys, that's just,
it's-
yeah.
I love it.
Unbelievable.
I just love it. I love that
Yeah.
you guys are pushing the boundaries of what's been done. You're inventing your own techniques. You know, you're pushing, you're playing the drums, you're pushing it forward. You're pushing the playing of the instrument forward, both of you.
Completely. And the thing that, you know, I asked the question about being musical, right? How does this meet music? Well, every drummer wants to play a solo. and both of you played little solos right there, that were very rhythmic and incredibly musical. I mean, just Alex, that little demonstration with your feet when you went into the flam stuff. I mean, it was priceless how musical it was. I mean, and we're talking about coming through a phone over the internet into my headphones, and it was very. I mean, you could feel it, man. That's deep stuff. And I echo what Jeremy said. You're really pushing the boundaries of what we can do with the instruments, or what we can do with the instrument. It's amazing, just absolutely fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Well, and you couldn't see his hands, but he was making a sandwich while he was doing that.
Yeah, I know. He was doing the Terry Bozzio thing. He was making some sushi. He was eating sushi.
They're actually so in the book the double bass. That was okay. I'm gonna do that next time.
All right, look. Me and Ramon are eating sushi over here, man. Yeah, I can only do my right hand, dude. He's got. That's awesome. Oh.
It's like, okay, so like the new one of the things that I did in this book to like emphasize the musical component of double bass was so I did Wilcoxon in the feet. Now Wilcoxon's pretty difficult, but Delacluse is harder in the feet. The Delacluse, the Douce Etudes by Delacluse are harder. So I did Delacluse 1 in the feet and hands to show that you could do it in both. So that's part of the new book, is doing Delacluse in the feet and be like, you can legitimately make this into a musical tool using dynamics, using all these different rhythms and stickings and coordination tools, the same way what Ramon does with push-pull. I feel that while it takes a while, so the way that I view it, there's several levels of development for this stuff. There's the technical ability where you push your body to do it. Then there is the layering capability, or the sort of where you're taking those techniques, you're putting them together, you're figuring out how they intersect, and teaching your limbs to work that way. Then there is the musical element, which is the last one, and that's the most difficult, which is where you make it sound good, make it feel good, and turn it into music. And that is the ultimate goal with it. Well,
I would. That's perfectly said, and I would echo that. Really, even with basic techniques, with what I teach my students, we work on accents. It's like, okay, these are the techniques. This is so you can physically do it. Here's the beats. Here's the patterns. Making it into music, making it feel good, make it sound appropriate, choosing what to do when. That's the art form. It's so like drumming's an art science, right? It's an art science.
You're kind of talking about the Bruce Lee dummy, where you're going through the training moves, and then the music is when you forget about that and just let the fight go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. So I've got a question for each of you, and I don't want to hog the time, but I'm gonna throw one to Alex and one to Ramon. So Alex, double bass, Wilcoxon, Paradiddle Johnny. Okay. The accents. What is your exercise to accent the feet? What is just to work on the accents to make it musical? And then Ramon's question will be this: on the push pull, what are some of the thumb exercises that you do to get that push pull? What are some of the thumb exercises? There's both of my questions. You guys answer them whatever order you want.
Ramon, you first. I insist.
I will change again the camera here to closer. So
Ramon's coming from Brazil right now. I think that's so cool that we've been anointed with this technology to make it.
I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming. I thought it would come in earlier, Chip. That was well done. I was waiting for it.
Very cool. Very cool.
I think this is the best one. So I'm sorry. The question was what exercise?
What exercises for the thumb do you do? Because I was mentioning the shape of your thumb. I'm really watching how you pull your thumb back and in the middle knuckle. What are some of the exercises you do just for that motion?
Yes, as I said, when you start, use a little bit more this movement. with thumb.
Okay. Okay.
But and the position of the drumstick in my hand. But with
Okay.
time, you could develop this not too much articulated this for single push and pull strokes. If you thinking on single strokes, adapting from single strokes.
So I guess the fulcrum point would be on that knuckle on your index finger, then, basically, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that the fulcrum is here, but
Mhm.
I always keep the fingers for more control for developing this. And the basic exercise I think is 16 or triplets, but always first of all playing straight 16s or straight.
Oh yeah.
For singles, I think is the best. And keep practicing this on pad, on hi-hat or
Yeah.
ride.
Mhm.
Each different piece has a different rebound. You have
Very
to adapt and calibrate your hand for this different
Surface. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Unbelievable.
this is the basic exercise.
Okay. Wow. And Chip's right. That's a Bruce Lee of thumbs right there, man. That's unbelievable. So cool.
Fantastic.
So cool. Fantastic. Okay, Alex, you're up.
All right. So the way that I worked on developing those accents was, let's say we take the accents and rebounds type exercise where you would have doubles, but then what you do is accentuate the note of each double. So you'd go through so you'd have the accent on the first note, accent on the second, third, fourth. Same with paradiddles. So you would do that with your feet, and that's the real secret to this, is treating your feet the same way you treat your hands, not like a secondary component.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And like with thumbs, everybody's feet are different. Everybody's body mechanics are different. Everybody's leg build is different. So I can only speak for what worked for me. But I can say that the mechanics behind it, I think, really come down to individual build and how your body wants to develop those accents. Because to me, double bass is a very new component of the instrument. It's probably been around for 50 years as a serious, viewed as a soloing tool, 50 years. And I think that therefore we're still developing the techniques and the real mechanics behind it.
Do you feel that your feet are relaxed? I was taking years ago. I remember taking a lesson with Ralph Humphrey, and I was trying to play something. I don't remember what the exercise was we were doing, but he stopped me and he goes, "Are your toes curled inside your shoes?" And I was like, "Yeah, they are." He goes, "Okay, relax your feet." And once I relaxed my feet, my toes, I was playing much better. Do you feel that your feet, like watching your feet go back and forth on the three motions on the pedal, it looked very relaxed. Do you feel that your feet are relaxed while you're playing?
Yeah, because I want to work that hinge of the ankle and from below the knee. So in order to do that, I kind of have to loose that hinge and really work all the gears of the throw, which includes the thigh, calf, and ankle. And then the shin, the pull. So you really, in order to activate all of that, you do have to be relaxed.
Do you feel like with the shin, do you feel your shin muscle pulling your foot up? I mean, it's kind of like the same as picking a stick up. You kind of want the stick to come back at you, but do you feel yourself picking your foot up?
I view it as the shin pushes the ankle down, the calf picks it up. So it's like an extensor, flexor.
Okay.
Like with a stick.
Okay, yeah. and of course the mechanics of the pedal come into it. Are your springs pretty tight? Are they loose? How do you?
Mine are. I mean, a big thing is I try to practice on as many different spring tensions as possible.
Mm.
That way,
you
if
for
I
that.
end up
Thank
having
you.
to use if I end up having to use somebody's pedal at a festival, like a metal fest or something like that, I'm not sitting there going like, I can't play this set because this pedal isn't mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because that's something I almost preach to my students, that, you know, like, I want to be in a band, and then they'll come in and they've got to have the kit just right. I'm like, look, just sit down and play it right now. See if you can do it. Maybe, you know, move a few things, but you got to get used to playing and throwing down on somebody else's kit sometime. Like if you're going to a simple blues jam, for God's sakes, much less a metal festival, you know, you're just going into playing somebody else's kit. You don't want to spend 20 minutes setting it up. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
But, you know,
Ramon,
playing
go.
New York City club kits, you got to be ready for literally a drum set that does not work. Like,
Oh,
the
yeah,
steel
yeah.
that won't
That's
raise.
everywhere. Yeah.
That's everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so
Yeah.
guys, what, tell us your book. You're working on a book together. Does it have a title yet?
We're working on that.
Title in progress. And is
Okay.
it who's is there a publisher picked it up yet?
Yes. Hudson Music.
Fantastic.
Oh, right
Fantastic.
on. Cool.
And then your books that exist already, tell us where we can find them, and Chip will put it in the comments.
Mine is also on the Hudson Music website. It's Ultimate Progressive Drumming, and there's a link to on the Hudson site.
Fantastic.
Yes, my book, this book, is on Hudson. The English ebook version is on Hudson, and the paper book and for English and Portuguese is with me. And just
What's
to say,
the title of that, Ramon?
I'm sorry.
What's the title of your book?
This is Rhythm Imagination.
Right on.
Imagination. Very cool.
And this is my book is a book version, English book version on Hudson, and this is the cover of my new one
cool.
that will release. I
That's
think
cool.
I think it's at the same time of our book with me and Alex. It's just about push and pull. There's a lot of exercises.
Is that one also coming out on Hudson?
I don't think so. I think it I will sell it on my website first. I don't know.
Right. Sure.
But I think at almost the same time with our book.
Cool.
I was working on this for 2 years, organizing. Now the guy did the cover, and we are finishing. I recorded the videos. So
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
real quick, we're wrapping up. Can you tell us a little, real quick, about Murder Hands?
Ooh.
yeah.
All right. Murder Hands originated at Drummers Collective. That was myself, Tobias Ralph, John Longstreth, and Lou Santiago Jr.
Okay.
And Tobias, John, myself, we would all get together on pads and work on these exercises to build up our hand speed and endurance. And one day they decided, the collective was like, let's film this and put it online. And before we knew it, it had 1 million views.
Wow.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah, it went viral. It became this sense, like, I mean, I was going to NAMM and people would stop me in the airport and be like, Murder Hands. Like, yeah.
Right on. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome.
Oh, and so that was it. It was that sort of club that you get together and then you put up the one video.
Yeah, and then we made all these exercises together, and the exercises were well received. And I'm actually going to publish some of them with the book.
Perfect. Oh, fantastic.
Awesome. All right. And then we have we already know Alex's answer to this about pizza.
No,
so
I want to hear it
Ramon.
again. I want to hear it again.
Oh,
'cause, you know,
okay. So we'll start with Alex.
Just a reminder, Alex, I'm from Manhattan. I grew up in Manhattan. So this is important to me.
This is very important. This is the most important question that we ask everybody on deck. So Alex, best place to get pizza in New York? In Brooklyn.
No, it doesn't have to be in Brooklyn.
Okay, anywhere in New York.
Whoa.
Sorry.
I
stand corrected.
You can if it's Brooklyn, you say you can tell us your favorite places in Brooklyn, but we're not, you don't got to.
I'm a Manhattan boy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with. So there's different types of pizza, and that's the thing about New York pizza. You have like your coal-fired sit-down pizza, and in Manhattan, I think my favorite for that is John's on Bleecker Street.
Mhm.
For slice, just like quick slice, Sal and Carmine's or Joe's.
Okay.
Carmine's, I just-
Where's Sal and Carmine's and Joe's? Where's those?
Upper West Side. Sal and Carmine's is 103rd and Broadway, and
Okay.
Joe's is West 4th Street, or Joe's is down in the Village, 6th Avenue and like Bleecker or something.
All right.
Wow. I got to go to. Okay, Ramon, where's the best place to get pizza in Brazil? Do they make pizza in Brazil? Talk
Sure
to
they
us
do.
about Brazilian pizza, please.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
that people love to eat pizza. I have some problems with gluten, and I've been don't eating too much pizza this 6 years, last 6 years. But there's a lot of pizza here, pizzerias as we call here. There's one is very good that sells some gluten-free pizzas. That's Pizzeria Integrale. Integrale.
Fantastic.
That is great.
When we come to Brazil to do our deck day in Sao Paulo, you'll have to take us there.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys, we cannot thank you enough for coming on
Yeah.
our show today. It's been an
My- thank you
absolute
very
pleasure.
My
I feel like
pleasure.
we just interviewed two Pablo Picassos of drumming. That's,
Yeah, really.
I mean, this is just
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. You know,
Yeah.
thank
Thank
you
you.
guys so
What-
much.
I just admire you both so much and what you're doing,
Yeah.
and your spirit with which you share it is just so open and generous. And thank you for putting up all your videos that I've watched and consumed. And thanks for coming on our show. And we'll definitely have you back.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you,
it
guys.
really has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We do have our 100th episode is coming up in just a few weeks, and our special guest for that is going to be none other than David Garibaldi from the quintessential funk band, The Tower of Power. We're super excited to talk to him. And remember, we have our deck day coming up November 12th at the Aquarian Drumheads Warehouse with live clinics, and you can find out more about that at our website, drummersedcon.com. Thanks you guys again for coming on, and we'll see y'all next week.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for watching, everybody.